Okay, so we're redoing this because the piece of crap camera yesterday wanted to do an update, and when I told it no, it said it wouldn't record. So we're reshooting this on, today is Thursday, and trying to go off what we remember. So, give it.
Okay, so I had the first class right after lunch, and it was about 20 minutes long, and I thought that I had underplanned, but I had overplanned actually. I just barely finished.
That class is kind of like being stuck in a whirlwind.
Yeah,
like it's just
it was just
zoomed.
flashes before your eyes. So yeah, the kids I thought were a bit quieter today, or yesterday I guess, than the previous couple days.
Yeah, Sugar Crash was kicking in, I think, from Halloween.
Yeah, because they were a lot quieter and more on task for this lesson, for me anyways. They were on better task.
Yeah.
I had an extra worksheet to do if we finished early, because I was sure that we were going to finish early, but we didn't get to it, so I guess I'll just get them to do that as a review for next class. They did get to the exit slip, and I was surprised at how well they did with that one.
Yeah, they did good on it. Yeah.
It was like 13 out of 25 that got 100%, and then the rest were just like variation between 0, 1, and 2 out of 3. So.
Well, there's always those 5 we know aren't going to anyways,
exactly.
right? Like, that are modification or whatever, so.
Yeah. My target sheet, my prof, or my co-op mentioned that I needed to try using my teacher voice. So I know that I need to work on that for next class, to be louder and project more.
Yeah, it's a big room too though, right?
Yeah.
So it's that space issue again of trying to project through it.
Yeah, and this time I did bring all of the students out of the reading area.
Right, which was better, but we're gonna still, and I know in mine too, we're gonna have to split those back 3.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
They're just being monkeys back there.
They're
so
awful together.
So I had the longer lesson, obviously because she had the shorter lesson, and it went, I thought, really well. It was very busy, and I did a whole bunch of tech things, and so it was more along the lines of how I will actually do a for real classroom, more along the lines of how I teach. So I used Smart Notebook, and I did Shout It Out and a smart response thing where the kids were able to vote and able to try and discuss whether or not they agreed with the bill, and then they were supposed to type in suggestions in the Shout It Out thing, and I got some really good responses and I got some really not so good responses, so luckily I could delete them and get rid of them and just tell the little schmucks to smarten up. But yeah, it was overall good. And then to wrap up my lesson, I did a Kahoot, and as with all Kahoots, they loved it.
Kahoots, yeah. I'll definitely do that at some point in the future.
Well,
they love it. They got so excited about it.
Yeah.
Even their quiz. They
Yeah,
were, like,
well, I was going to say, our teacher
for.
actually did a social studies quiz. She had 20 questions, and the kids went through it like really quick, were mostly engaged other than a couple that were just being turkeys or whatever. But I was looking through the data I got back from my 5 questions last night, and so it gave me an overall, these kids got 4 out of 5 out of 5, 3 out of 5, whatever. But then if you go to individual questions, it actually times how long it took each kid to respond.
Oh, cool.
And so, yeah, which I hadn't actually realized, but that shows you then which kids knew it immediately and had a gut reaction versus which kids were kind of slower and had to think about it. And then whether or not they got it right at that point doesn't really matter. It's showing the thinking process and whatever. And so some of the kids that I thought would have hit the button right away were actually quite a bit slower than what I had anticipated. And so it was kind of neat to see the breakdown there of how the program actually does give you that ability to differentiate there. By the end of the day, where my class was, they were starting to ramp up already, but they've been popping sugar all day.
Yeah.
Like, we seen them before
Trying
attendance popping sugar.
At 8 in the morning, or sorry, I guess 8:30 in the morning, they're eating sugar.
Yeah, eating nib packets already at 8:30. So, I mean, somewhat by then they were leveling off. So next week, I have the short lesson, and because the kids screwed themselves over on passing the bill, we're going to retry and do that as per our co-op's request. And you have a longer class, and you're going to do...
I'm going to start on the respiratory system after the review of circulatory digestive and their relationship.
Correct.
And then I'll just add that one on too, and then just keep kind of building new systems onto
Right.
the old ones and then connecting them like how they're related to each other.
Should be good. Other than that, have a good week. We'll see you all next week. Bye.